Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. 2,500 plus audios of old school and new school wrestling, all points in between along the way here. And we continue to try to bring you the best in audio wrestling content. Obviously, my preference is for old school wrestling, but we also cover the modern stuff, including AEW Rampage from uh, the. Um, the 18th of March 2022. Rampage continues to be one of those, mixed bag shows. I was not impressed with this particular edition, but it's more basically where they are. Show starts late last night because they're on after the NCAA. 11:48 p.m. on the East Coast is where we started. Taz, Excalibur, Jericho, and Ricky Starks don't need a four-man booth, but they continue to do it anyway. Darby Allin with Sting defeats the Butcher with the Blade and the Bunny by countout at 10:35. Basically, um, big man versus little man. Kind of Allin taking a beating for several minutes and occasionally getting a few hope spots in here and there against a much larger opponent. Allin gets knocked from the ring early. Butcher doesn't let him back in for a while. Allin manages to maneuver out of the way. High speed tope back in the ring. Butcher hits a high angle backbreaker. Near fall, Allin comes back, biting Butcher's hand. Butcher floors him with a clothesline and then gets another near fall. Butcher then swings Allin around by the neck and kicked him to the floor. On the floor, Butcher nails Allin with a lariat. Butcher then is face to face with Sting, and they go to a split screen break. I hate these. Back from the break, Allin dives off the middle rope into a dropkick. Butcher catches him and locks in Texas Cloverleaf. Allin's ready to escape. Butcher pulls Allin into a powerbomb, holding him in Cloverleaf. Allin eventually crawls into the ropes, escape to the floor. On the floor, Allin escapes powerbomb and attempts and rams him back into the ring post. Butcher then swings Allin around ringside, sending him into a barricade and steel steps. Allin then evades a splash from the Butcher against the stairs, then hits Code Red on the floor. Allin follows up with a coffin drop from the top rope to the floor. Allin crawls back in and beats the count. And Butcher, um, you know, gets a loss via countout here. Not necessarily sure this needed to happen. After the match, Andrade and Jose come out, distract Sting and Allin, and Private Party runs in from behind, attacking. Um, and ultimately, the Hardys come out, and Jeff Hardy doesn't dance his way into the ring this time. AFOT's getting in the ring, but of course they don't. Then Jericho said that this is what sports entertainment's all about. Matt challenged Butcher and the Blade, Private Party, to face the Hardy Boys, Darby Allin and Sting for Dynamite. Yay! Another needless multi-person match, although at least it was set up well, so can't complain entirely about that. Scorpio Sky cuts a promo with Paige Van Zant as I grab my phone, and we'll be back in two shakes of a lamb's tail to continue this Rampage review. At the end of the day, though, wasting a guy like Darby Allin in these throwaway matches seems kind of frustrating. Anyway, we move to Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet. Red Velvet, honestly, I don't understand the character. I don't get the character. I don't think the character is particularly well fleshed out or necessary 3 years in. But Layla Hirsch, they have been pushing a bit more, and obviously Layla Hirsch winning in 6:54 makes logical sense for the progression of stories. Anyway, um, however, that's not what happened here as Red Velvet won. Fight starts on the floor. Hirsch tries German suplex. Velvet counters with a suplex of her own. Match gets in the ring. Velvet standing moonsault for near fall. Velvet then shows a bunch of fire and nails a bunch of body shots. Velvet is obviously having an advantage because of the size difference between the two. Back from the break, Velvet regains control with a Cazador into a Bulldog for near fall. Velvet then goes for spinning kick. Hirsch then gets her in powerbomb position and hits a breaker, but then Velvet uses the long legs getting to the ropes. Hirsch then goes for diving knees and finds turnbuckles after the connection, and then she then uses the foreign object. Chris Statlander grabs it from Hirsch. Distraction. Hirsch walks into a spin kick, and Velvet gets the pin. I suppose the point of this was to further things between Statlander and Hirsch, which I guess is good. I just don't know that Red Velvet was the one that needed the victory. QT Marshall and Aaron Solo cut a promo backstage. Marshall mentions the boss, and since Solo's in the demo, he has no idea who he was talking about. And then Marshall will present the first ever Kyushi Martel Certificate of Accomplishment to his best student, Hook, live on Rampage next week. And then House of Black defeated Fuego del Sol, Bear Country 322. Anyway, um, Bear Bronson starts with Malachi Black. I mean, this is pretty well a. I don't necessarily want to call it a squash, but at the same time, I think, at least to some degree, it kind of is. In that, I mean, from a perspective, there's a little bit of, House of Black taking over and going in a good direction. It also comes off a top rope dropkick on King. He gets destroyed, though. Black hits a top rope moonsault to the floor on one of the bears, and then Murphy hits a tornado